What's going on, Squatchers? We're back. We're back to every Thursday having these great videos being produced and posted on YouTube. Remember, they are at 1800, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of every week. This week's video is going to be about water drinking safety, how to safely drink water out on the trail, the different ways and techniques that you can do that. I did post a video that's kind of an update on how the surgery went and how the healing's been going. So make sure to go ahead and check that one out. That one's going to be posted as well this week. So without further ado, let's get into safe drinking habits out on the trail and what equipment you can use to make your drinking water safe for you. Water that you find out in the wild has not been treated like the water that you find either in your local cities or in your stores. All that water has been treated. Any water you find out in Mother Nature is just that, the naturally formed water from Mother Nature. And more often than not, that water is going to have some kind of bacteria to it. It's going to have something in it that's really going to make you sick if you drink it. So it's really important to properly care for that water to make sure you don't get sick on the trail. The two techniques that are used in order to make sure that your water is safe to drink is either filtration or purification. Now I'm going to start off by, I'm going to read the actual definitions off from the REI website of what each of those are. And then I'm kind of going to give you what I would call the hiker's layman terms. Now, remember, I am just a backpacker and hiker. I'm not an education person, even though I do have some background in this. For those that don't know, water treatment and distribution has been my job for the last 10 to 15 years. It's actually the career that I'm walking out of in order to do these adventuring stuff. But that's then, this is now. So as I read this, I'm probably going to stumble over any of the larger words. So no picking too hard. But, so here we go. This is directly from REI. Here's my laptop, by the way, with the new stickers. Let me know if people would be interested in buying them. It's something I'm thinking about trying to do for y'all. But, filtration. Okay, filtration works by physically straining out protozoan, this says cysts. See, we already got those words going on. C-Y-S-T-S. Such as Giardia and other bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella. These biological pathogens are the main water concerns if you're traveling in the U.S. and Canada. So a filtration system will remove those by physically straining them out. Okay? So now we're just going to jump right down to purification definition at the same time. Purification also combats viruses as well as those bacteria that we talked about, which are too tiny for most filters to effectively catch. I'll get into that a little bit more. If you're traveling in less developed areas of the world, consider these products that provide protection for these viruses, such as hepatitis A, the rotavirus, and the norovirus. And both those definitions are, again, from the REI website. So now let's go into more of a layman's terms of what each of those mean. A filter is like a net, right? So it's like a strainer for your coffee, if you will. But think of it more of a net. That way we can like really zoom in and blow up what a filter is. So imagine your net has holes in it, okay? As the bacteria and the particles go to come in, they're too big to fit through the holes in that filter. But the water molecules are able to fit through that filter. So that's how that filter is able to stop those sediments and the bacteria from getting through. The reason why it can't stop viruses is because viruses are so small that they're able to get through those squares in the net at the same size at the molecular level for the water. Whew. I hope this first video isn't going to be all me stumbling over words like this. But hey, whatever. We're on for the ride, right? Purification kills everything in it that's dangerous. It kills all the bacteria. It kills all the viruses. However, it doesn't remove them. It just nullifies them. So they're still there. They're just no longer dangerous. So that is the big difference between filtration and purification. Now let's dive into each one just a little bit more. So let's go back to filtration. Filtration is a filter, pretty much. It's like your coffee filter. It stops things from moving through whatever the filter is, but allows the water to come through so that the water on the other end is safe to drink. Again, not viruses though. So if you're in a virus-prone area, this might not be the best system to use. Here in the United States, this system is used all over the country, and people are fine using it every day. With filtration, there are a couple of different ways to do it. One form of filtration would be your pump filtration, right? So pump filtration, you literally put this pump on top of your bottle, and it's got a hose end that comes out, and that goes into the water. And as you pump it, it sucks the water up. The water goes into the pump pushes it through a filter, and then coming out the other end is your fresh, clean water. This system works just fine. The second would be a gravity system. With a gravity system, you get a dirty bag, and they call it dirty because that's where your non-cleaned water goes. And you scoop up the water that you're going to use. You hang it up in one area. The tube comes down. There's a filter that it goes through, and then that goes down into your clean bag. And your clean bag is the bag that you drink from. Those filters work just fine. They take some time. I've seen them be up to 7 minutes for your normal amount of drinking water. So it's a long process, and they're big and bulky. For me, they're not my favorite, but they work great. So if that's what you have, awesome. The last one would be your bottle filters. And that's what I personally use, is the bottle filter. A bottle filter can be used in two ways. You take the filter and you put it on the bottle, and you have your dirty water in the bottle, and you just drink right out of that bottle. There's a bunch of different types of them. I personally like the, oh darn it, now I can't remember the name of it. I am just all over the place today. I personally like this one. I'm going to put it up here because I'm having a wicked brain dying episode today. It's getting back. It's getting everything, all the bugs out. There's the Sawyer Squeeze. The Sawyer Squeeze is good. It works just fine. My only problem that I have with it is you work hard to get your water out. It's not something that just comes out easy. There's the Life Straw too. I've never tried the Life Straw. I don't know that much about it, but it is another same system. It's a bottle filter system. When you use those, you can either suck it straight out of the bottle, or you can also do the pour method or the squeeze method, which is where you collect it in a bag, you got your bottle filter on there, and then you have a clean container and you squirt it into the clean container. I am going to post a video of that right here, of that process being done, where you're going to see my hiking buddy taking the water that he finds, filling up one bottle, and you see him squeezing it into another. That personally has been my favorite technique. I think that works really, really well. It's fast, it's easy, and if you want, if you go to do it and you're thirsty, you can honestly just drink right out of that thing and then go to pour it into the container that you're using. All right, so chemical treatment. Chemical treatment of water is you add something to that water, either chlorine or iodine, and it kills the bacteria and the viruses inside the water, making it therefore safe to drink. Chlorine is exactly the same thing that you put in your pool. It's chlorine. They come in a little bottle. You put so many squirts in it, depending on the directions of the bottle. Give it a good shake. Let that really mix around. Give it a couple of seconds to really let it go through, or whatever the directions say. If the directions say longer, follow the directions on the bottle. And then you're good to go. You're safe to drink. it will taste like pool water. It will have that chlorine taste to it. Some people will say that's how you know it's working. The reason for that is as chlorine attacks viruses and bacteria, the chlorine both nullifies as it kills them, so the chlorine becomes inactive as well as the bacteria and the viruses do. When that happens, there's no longer a smell or a flavor of the chlorine itself. So if you put chlorine in it and you shake it up and you can't smell or taste chlorine, that means whatever was in there was dangerous enough where the chlorine wasn't enough to get rid of it all. You're probably going to want to add some more. But again, check your directions beforehand before you do that. Iodine is just a tablet. It's like a metallic flavored, I'll call it flavored, a metallic aftertaste tablet that you go and put in. It does the same thing where it kills off the viruses, makes it safe to drink, and bacteria, viruses and bacteria. Makes it safe to drink. However, it is just awful. It tastes so bad. I am definitely not a fan of it. I've used it before when I was in Alaska. That's all that we used was just those tablets for a month. And by the time I got home, I wanted nothing to do with them. But both those processes work. They are very safe, and they're definitely a good method. Just so that you know, most water systems, so any like city water, anything that you get out there, they all use chlorine. So this isn't something that people just throw out there to use for backpacking trips. This is something that is one of the best ways to make that water safe to drink. Definitely a good method. Just if I can not do it, I'm not going to do it. The next purification method is the sterilization pen. A sterilization pen is a battery-operated device that you put in the water and you have to mix it around. And as you do, you'll notice it's got like a glow to it as it uses an ultraviolet light to kill the bacteria and viruses. This one will not leave a taste in it at all, as the light itself just kills the viruses when you shut it off. That's it. You just have now these inactive particles inside that you can't see, and you would never know where they're otherwise. They're not super cheap, but they're also not super expensive. It is extra equipment that you have to carry around. And they can be kind of bulky. They can be, you know, around that size. I'll throw a picture of one up here in the corner. Not a bad method, not one of my favorites, but it'll definitely do the purification without leaving that nasty aftertaste. The last purification method is boiling. Boiling has been used for years. Very common, very simple. Once you bring the water to a boil, where it gets to the point where those bubbles are coming up, that means that that water is at a temperature where the bacteria and viruses could not survive. It kills them off. That is now safe to drink, and you do not have to worry about it. Problems with the boiling method. It takes time. If you're trying to boil and all you have is just your backpacking cook stove and your backpacking cook pot, it is going to take forever. It's going to burn a lot of fuel. And to me, it is just a gigantic hassle and just no thank you. There are so many other methods out there to use. The boiling method is definitely not one I would want to use, but it's good to have in your pocket just in case if your filter breaks or if you run out of purification pills or your sterile pen breaks. You at least have the knowledge to know that, hey, I can boil it and make it safe. But it was not something that I would suggest having for a main method, for it is very time consuming and it can actually be more expensive to constantly boil that water. You're going to be going through a lot of fuel to make your drinking water safe. So it's definitely one that I would not suggest whatsoever. With filters, you want to make sure that you are taking care of them. Especially if you are hiking around this time of year, or if you're hiking when the weather can drop down to freezing temperatures overnight. Sometimes that can sneak up on you when you're out in the woods. If your filter has water in it and that water freezes, it can crack your filter and make your filter null and void. It will not work. And then you have the risks of actually getting sick. what people do to make sure that doesn't happen is they sleep with their filters. They put them in their sleeping bag and they let their body temperature keep that filter at enough of a temperature where it will not freeze and it will not be compromised. So just make sure that if you're using the filtration system, that you are properly storing it at night so that that does not happen. All right, so let's do a quick rundown, deep and dirty, on why you do this. Why is this so important? You know, why can't you just go out and just drink the water, look at it? Yeah, it looks clean. It might have a little bit of discoloration, whatever. It looks fine. I think I'm just going to drink it. To be honest, you can. You might drink that and you might be just fine, or you might not. It could give you, I'll call it the runs, just for something easy here to give you, and that can actually dehydrate you a lot faster, because now you're drinking bacteria water in order to keep your body going, because you're having water removed from your body because you have this bacteria in you. It can make you just overall very sick. It's not worth the risk. It's an injury that's easily avoided if you just do the proper procedures. So that is why it is important to make sure to do some form of treatment to that water, either be filter or purification, to make sure that you don't get sick while you're out on the trail. Well, Squatchers, that's the quick and dirty, or cleaning, process for your water. Sorry, it's a little bit buggy here. I'm trying to work all the cobwebs out after being away for a little bit, but I hope you learned something. Please jump in the comments if you have any questions or whatever, and I'll make sure to put different products down in the comments for you to be able to go and purchase if you don't really know exactly what you're looking for. And I can talk about some of the different ones when I start loading it up in the comments. It's so good to be back. I'm so excited to be back. Live videos are going to be coming back. Usually those are done over on the TikTok, so make sure you subscribe to TikTok, Stubby Squatch on TikTok, and then make sure you like, follow, and subscribe here to always get these videos whenever they come out every Thursday. Thank you, everybody. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy to be back doing what I love, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. See you, Squatchers.
I promise I'm like tweaking my feet.
All right, it's morning. Beautiful morning here. And we are getting our morning water to do breakfast. You'll notice that Taylor has the, what is that one?
Katadyn, Be Free.
And he puts it in one bottle, and then he'll squirt it through the strainer of that bottle into his bottle, and nice clean water comes out. Totally clean.
Maybe.
If you don't clean it right, Terry gets mad at you.
Terry?
Yeah, because he feels dissed.
Oh.
You're welcome.
And then you get this is right.
But, you know, I don't know if you can really see here, but there's a big difference in the color of the water up top. It's got a tint to it compared to the color of the water that's hitting that bottle.
It's not crystal clear, but it's close.
And that's how we're getting our water.